now they so that one could not be a vintage, but it could be a late bottle vintage if the institute allows. If later the institute don't allow, they could change for the smaller barrels and the tons.
Okay. Gotcha. And how long do they have to wait until they send to the?
So at this moment, for sure, they already sent a piece of this wine to the institute in 2020 to see if it's a vintage or not.
Right.
Maybe they could bottle in that time just a certain amount because they could not do vintage for all the wine.
And is that because of just the amount that the institute will allow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that is why you will sometimes have a vintage wine, but then also you'll have late bottle vintage from that same.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, that I was not understanding.
And for instance, when we do the harvest, they allows the property to produce, imagine, 59,000 liters.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
And then the wine is very good, but they only can do a certain amount of vintage. So the rest of the wine we don't waste. We can keep or for late bottle vintage.
Okay.
Or for but usually so they could do that, and later they always could put in a smaller roast to do tons.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was trying to figure out, because somebody told to me at one point in time that if you had a really good grape, a really good year, a really good harvest, that you would keep some for late bottle vintage. And I'm like, well, why would you keep it for late bottle vintage if it was a really good grape? But that's because they could only do so much vintage, and then they use it for late. Okay, that makes so much more sense.
And there are some ports that you also can store in some vintage that you can store in a stainless steel. So you store in a stainless steel during that 2 years without contact with oak, and then you can bottle after that.
Okay. So you can have a vintage that's really good, but you have to bottle it. But you can store it and then bottle more later.
The store is always in the 2 years. So, if, for instance, if they want that wine, they could be stored between 2018 and 2020 in a stainless steel vat. And if it has the quality to do a vintage, they could bottle in 2020. But they could store or in a big barrel or in a stainless steel vat.
Okay.
Sometimes depends about the style of the winemaker.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
So here, be careful, please. Hold these because it's
Little uneven.
yeah. So now here this steel is disabled, but in the past it was here that they produced the wine spirits, But now because the monopoly of the wine spirit is with the institute, is completely forbidden that they could